Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. How are you guys?
Oh my gosh, and the room is filling up. That's wonderful. We have someone named Nuclear Quantum Lasers Pew Pew Pew. What kind of a long name is that anyway?
I think I heard of that guy.
And then Sassy's in the house, and Mark and Ambi Lee and Calvin. It's wonderful to see all you guys here.
Yes, much love, dear brothers and sisters, and a fun thing to talk about today. And as much as, the chaos is increasing in some ways, I think of that famous song, "It's the end of the world as we know it," but I feel fine. I really do. I feel more than fine. Actually, I'm tingling from head to toe and feel wonderful. So I hope you guys are too.
Yeah, we hope you guys are doing good too. I can't say I'm tingly right now, but I was tingly earlier, and life is just good. And there's Energies 1111. How are you?
Yeah, it looks like they're upgrading some stuff to YouTube Studio there. They're just highlighting things. Cheryl S. in the house. How are you doing, dear sister? UFO to know. I like that. UFO to know. Law of one raw material says third density beings will birth fourth density. Yeah, law of one, that's some good stuff. Definitely some good stuff. I think it resonates with an awful lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does resonate. And, we're changing. Things are changing. Bodies are changing. A lot of energy being thrown around that we're unaware of. And I feel like they want to help us become aware of what's going on so we have control over our emotions and stuff.
And we see Brother Jeff's in the house. Taylor Noose, Tiffany Wood, good to see you as always. And we have Truth Co-op, otherwise known as Diana from Asheville, at least when I first started talking to her. And who else do we have here? We have peace. So says Calvin. Mm-hmm. Peace is always good. Always good. And as is love. We got Morning Star Story.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys are all really happy. Nice high vibe in the chat. That feels good. That's helpful when it's like that.
Allie S is tingling. That's awesome. Rose War in the house. Arizona Raven. Great to see you.
It's wonderful to see you guys. Absolutely wonderful. And I can feel the vibration. It's pretty high in there. That's great.
Most definitely. So, let us, before we get started, can we do a little tuning and send some peace and love and good vibes out into this world that needs more of what we have in this chat room?
Think a happy thought, you guys. That's super important.
Yeah, focus on every cell in your body being activated and optimized. See it charged with light. Feel it. Sink your roots into the earth. Feel if you have shoes on, maybe you want to kick those shoes off. Put your bare feet on the ground and extend your roots from what we call the bubbling wells, the K1 point. The first kidney meridian point in acupuncture. It's right at the ball of the foot, just a little bit towards the center. And just sink your roots into the ground and ground yourself with Mother Earth because she is ascending. So if we could tap into her energy, will help nourish our physical body and also our energy bodies as well. And we'll pick up the ascension wave and the ascension energies. We need to become more cognizant of the fact that every single individual is a cell in the body of the planet. And again, the planet itself is just a cell in the body of something bigger. And this entire universe is just a cell in the body of something bigger. As above, so below. That's how this works. So we'll sink our roots and we're going to focus on drawing healing energy up into ourselves, and we'll send it to everyone across the globe, and may it also be something that can bring them peace.
Okay, you guys ready? Okay.
So may you all be blessed with peace, love, and light, and may you all be a beacon for others.
Absolutely. And just hold that happy thought, whatever that happy thought was, that healthiest vision of yourself, because right there we're programming the energy body and moving you into alignment. So whatever you were thinking is going to help move you toward that happy thought, or that better person you're holding in your mind's eye. Very, very important stuff that they want us to get across to you about our energy bodies and how important they are. And it's a little bit basic information, but a little bit not. They were wanting me to keep it simple, because we are like little grade schoolers to them. And there's a lot of stuff that we haven't been taught. So they wanted us to kind of keep it simple. But it's important, though. It doesn't mean it's not important. It's probably the most important thing you can do is take care of your energy body.
And so, there was a good question out there that was, really to the heart of the matter in so many ways. How do you get over the anger of what's being done to people? And so this is from Are You Serious? That's a great question. I think it takes first off, knowing that this is a test. And this is just like everybody is, it's like it's finals. This is the final exam. And it's so important how we react and what we do. Because if we flunk this grade, we might have to repeat the class thousands of times again, perhaps even more. Some say that this is, such a rare event, this ascension wave right now, such a rare opportunity for us to let go, purge, cleanse ourselves from all these lower vibrations that are keeping us from moving up permanently into a much higher level of existence where we actually can have a heaven on earth situation. And it's imperative that we don't fall into the lower vibrations, because that's exactly why they're doing this. They're doing everything they can to get us to basically kill each other and just lower our vibrations so that they will still be able to hold on to what they view as their, in some cases, a food source, a resource, energy source, assets. They view us as possessions in so many ways. We are viewed as like serfs when you get down to it. In a feudal society, you're just there to work the fields, to slave away, to serve your masters. And that's the mentality of this dark cabal, deep state, whatever terms you want to use. Satanic, sure. We could go down that route as well. There's a lot of different labels we could give them, but what they are is they are beings that are very, very adept at manipulation, and that is another way that they manipulate us.
It's definitely a way they manipulate us. And when you're looking outside of yourself and you see all these horrific things happening, the best that you can do is pray for those situations to come out in a better way. The most important thing to do is look within yourself and understand what you are in control of. You can only control what's within your grasp, your emotions, your reactions, what you eat, how you sleep, things like that. And a big reason why they have so many distractions out there right now is to keep people looking outside of themselves and being angry and feeling helpless. But we're not helpless. There's things that can be done.
But he that lives by the sword shall die by the sword. And there is most definitely the law of cause and effect, or we could call it karma. So karma does come around for sure, and it's just a matter that we don't have to feel like, we have to go out there and actually, kill people or anything like that. That's not what's going to lift you up into a higher vibratory state. And we talked about cultivating kind of that Buddhist sense of detachment, and that is so important. In a way, first we have to kind of detach from the drama And then we can allow the gratitude and the love for all that is still good and that is still just striving to come out and manifest itself into this world that is in all the light workers and star seeds, you guys. This is why you're here. You're here to help this transition. You're here to help create a new way of doing things and unity consciousness. As we were talking about the law of one material. There is one prime creator. There is one source of all. And that source has obviously allowed us to have free will, and some will debate that, and some think that there is fate and things like that as well. I think that there are always choices that we can make that can change the reality timeline that we are on. We always have the ability to shift timelines, to jump to a higher timeline. And so, the highest path will lead way out from where we are now, and perhaps completely out of that karmic loop that keeps us coming back and doing it over and over and over again. And they are masters of that. And they, as we were talking about, and so we're talking about law of one material, as we shared in the last live, these beings, some of them operate on third density, more of them operate in fourth density, and then there's a good amount that operate in fifth even. So, at fifth density, you still have these type of battles going on. And so this is a multi-dimensional battle. This is a battle that rages across our galaxy and through various dimensions and densities. And so we do have natural allies, and the Arcturians are one of them. And so, today when we were in meditation and doing our mantras, Cindy was getting a ton of upgrades and downloads from them. We both have been worked on extensively the last several days, so we've haven't been as prolific with putting videos out because we know we need to do a lot of internal work right now to process the stuff that they're giving to us, because they are significantly upgrading us. And when I'm talking about the help's coming from a lot of different places, like the Arcturians, benevolent Pleiadians. There are beings on the inside of the earth as well, like those under Mount Shasta and Telos, like Adama and the like, as well as what we would call the Devas, the angelic realms, the much higher densities even above those, which have been working directly in us and with us. And I had shared with you guys several nights ago, I had like a mind-blowing experience. And then when I was doing my standing meditation, Cindy could see there was a change in my energy body, and it's been manifesting, and it continues to manifest and grow. And we're going to get into more detail with that. But we are starting to get our wings, guys, which is cool, which is super cool, because that's why we're here.
Which is, kind of an individual yet collective effort for us to get our wings and our light bodies. Is, depends on where we're at on our path, and we each are a piece of a fractal of source. We're each on our own path, and it's just this timeline is set up for us to start our energy bodies off. It's time, but you're responsible for that, as far as what you eat, how you conduct yourself, how you take care of yourself. All of these things I know they sound basic, but they really can't stress the importance of these things that we need to do to help develop the light body.
So Jeremiah wants to know if you have a sister. Well, she does, but her sister's married too. But we could always work on cloning, because the world does need more Cindys, that's for sure. She is so self-effacing. She just, she doesn't have ego. There's not a lick of ego inside of her. And, she's just got a great heart. But, that's part of what we have been doing too, I have to do a lot of energy work on her, because she's also purging and cleansing, and and do you want to share with them, after your downloads, it felt like you said your skin was just burning on fire.
Oh, it was horrible. I have a lot of my own issues still to work through. A lot of things, a lot of incidences like we all have gone through. And, when you bury them through whatever means, they need to come out. They need to leave the body because they're kind of stuck in your 3D body. And my skin, it was like burning. And they told me that I was processing emotion that I had covered up, more than 20 plus years ago. So these emotions have to come out, and they come out in different forms. Like my skin was burning, my body was shaking, and I was crying, and it really, really hurt. But that's because I'd covered those emotions up so long ago. And emotions buried alive never, ever die. They never die. So it's really important that we get to the point where we can process them. However that looks. A lot of my stuff I can't remember, so it just came up through the body.
And I know a lot of us are getting the same messages right now. So it's so important to really take it to another level. And, we've talked a lot about how we fast so much. We're always fasting. And it's part of the purge, but also like yesterday we ate like crazy. And I think it was because of the downloads and the energetic changes all of a sudden needed more nutrition, more calories. So follow what your body is telling you. Listen to your body, because your body's going to tell you when it needs some calories, and then it's going to also tell you when we need to purge. We have been intentionally barraged with so much negative energy and negative substances that they're always trying to squeak into us. And, trying to put, as we know, they're going to try to put more laws into effect to put other stuff. And all this stuff is really, really what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop ascension. That's the number one thing. More than population reduction, more than any of these other agendas that are going on that are very, very real. The thing they don't want is they don't want us developing our light bodies, our Merkabas, and they don't want us ascending, because then they lost us. They've lost any sort of grip on us. And so that's the biggest deal. That really is the biggest deal out there. Now, part of it is baiting people into doing destructive acts and getting people to just even harm one another, because all these things are going to keep the negative karma loop going. It's going to make it harder and harder to get out of this type of reality that we're in. So we must shed that. And I see a lot of you guys are you're getting this. You're really, really getting this. You're understanding this. You're feeling this. And, Calvin says he's been drinking lots of alcohol. Well, I have a theory about that too, because I think that some people instinctively know that you probably would ascend very, very quickly without certain what we might look at as negative addictions, where that's a glass or two of wine at night, or being frisky with your partner, things like that. That's not really negative, and actually it's just mitigating energies. And sometimes we gotta slow things down a hair as well. We do want to do as much as we can to help the ascension process, and diet is a big part of that, most definitely. So things that are very heavy and dense are going to slow it down. And I know, Nuke's saying, what does that mean? I can't have a 24-ounce porterhouse steak tonight. So it's going to slow down your vibe. So it's just the way it works. But, everybody is different. Everybody's on their own timeline. Although there's waves. And I think we will perhaps even see with Ascension / Rapture type events that they're going to be in waves, not just all one big push, but although there is definitely also the possibility of that split in the road, that reality split, the divergent timeline thing, which is why I picked the symbol for EEARTS, because I really have this inner gut feel that will happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. And as far as what you're eating is concerned and how that works with your light body, remember what you're eating is the more pure organic it is, the better it's going to serve you, the better your body can process it. And remember, what you are eating is actually turning into human being. It's there to sustain you. So if you're eating processed food and chocolate and stuff, it's not going to process as easily, and it's not going to assist you as other things might assist you better. So, if you want that steak, that's great. Eat the steak, make sure you charge it. But just know that could slow things down. So then there's that.
Hello, Mary. Glad you could join us as well. And just looking at some of the comments there. So, okay, UFO to know says, is the harvest the rapture? So the harvest, the way I take it is, when they're talking about the harvest, they're talking about how many are going to go upwards in vibration. And unfortunately, when you really, really look at it, if you go through all the law of one material, each time it's not like the majority do. It's one of those things where it is somewhat of a rarity, but at the same time, there are those that do go and ascend. I think what I feel and what we've gotten as far as messages from our guides and the ones around us, including the Pleiadians, Arcturians, and the inner earth beings as well, I think there's going to be quite a few different things going on. I really think there's going to be some people that will be physically taken up in ships. And if you look at the Hopi and others as well, a lot of the native indigenous people still remember being brought here. They have legends about being brought to Earth from somewhere else. And we were talking today, about some of the cultures, whether you're talking the Americas, Africa, or other places as well. They have this remembrance. I think in the past, and from what Cindy got too about Atlantis, is that Atlantis was a time when there was openly a variety of different ET races here openly and operating. And it was just out there in the open. And I was thinking about this today when I've been doing a lot of research into the Norse mythology, because that was one I didn't research as much in the past. So really digging into it and thinking about the Aesir and the Vanir, and then I was thinking about the Devas and the Asuras, and I was thinking about the Tuatha De Danann and all these different groups that are called gods, and I think they're all just ETs. Really, ETs and IDs, interdimensionals, and doesn't necessarily mean that they are not more advanced, and even some of them more advanced spiritually, other ones maybe not really any more advanced spiritually, just more advanced technologically. I think that was the case for Atlantis, is that you had a obvious out there commingling. I think really when we look at like Neanderthal and Denisovans and the little hobbit creatures that we found now, because they found full skeletons of definitely hominids that probably could interbreed with humans that were only like 3 feet tall. I think all these are also kind of representatives of different species that have been here. Something happened so that the dark Draco energy, along with their greys that work with them, and some of the Nordic ones that have been subjugated to the Draco, they seem to have been left here, and they have been ruling us, basically through their bloodline, people that they have chosen. Yet in the past, there was many different ET-ID species here, many different ones, including the blue beings, that we see when we see Krishna. When he left, then we had the Kali Yuga, the Dark Age. So, at that last battle in the Mahabharata, it was pretty much, right after that, then, the Dark Age began. And where did all the gods go, quote unquote, right? I mean, all we have now has been this dark draconian energy that's ruled the planet. And if we look at the Bible, who rules the earth? Well, the devil does, right? The adversary, Satan, the adversary. He's the adversary of who? Well, he's the adversary of humanity, because, they treat humanity as slaves. And it's not just one individual, although I'm certain they have their hierarchy, because we are patterned after their system. The Babylonian system is the draconian system.
Yeah, I believe that too. And, I do believe that all the gods are very, very different. And it just seems like when they were all together, there was a lot of ego and a lot of conflict, a lot of clashes, and things just weren't working that way. And then there was an accident. And now we have these different soul streams. We might come from different beings that we might consider gods because they have stronger abilities than we do, or at least they know how to use their abilities, not necessarily stronger. They know how to use them. And it seems like they're standing back, kind of watching, letting mankind grow and learn and mature, kind of like they're our parents and we're the little ones who are learning these lessons and growing our soul and our spirit. We just haven't been given a lot of guidance, because I do believe it is overshadowed by the Draco, who are kind of, they're opportunists, they take advantage of. And we were not given a lot of information when we were young, as far as, how spiritual growth really is and how important our connection to spirit truly is. They spent we went to school and they taught us all things outside of ourselves. Look outside of yourselves for the answer. Look outside of yourself. So that's been burned into the human psyche. So whenever we have a problem, it's just hardwired almost to think, well, I'll just go look out here for this pill, or I will go out there and do that, when it's all about growing that light within.
And there was Energies 1111 said, does anybody else feel that they're battling all night in the astral, and even waking up with bruises? Yeah, Grizzly does that all the time. He wakes up exhausted because he's battling on the astral. So yeah, this is a fascinating scenario as we look at a representation of an Arcturian, and very benevolent beings. How would you describe them?
Well, a lot like our parents, because they're sending information through me that's pretty basic and simple, yet super important. I view and I feel them as very caring, very loving, very compassionate. At the same time, they want things to grow correctly. They don't want to shortcut our route to ourselves. They want to give us as much love and care as they can. At the same time, let us walk our own path.
And they have definitely been helping to thwart some of the draconian plans, and to give us as much opportunity for growth, so we can activate our light bodies and take our wings back. And there's been a lot of downloads that we've been getting lately that have kind of verified things that I've always kind of just instinctively knew. And, this is a huge battle going on. As we see some info about the Arcturians, they're great healers, very, very diplomatic, and they really want to just help us all get along. Now, there's so many things we've been taught to be afraid of, and there's so many things that are quote unquote occult, and there's probably a mainstream connotation with the word occult that it's evil. It's just hidden. And so the symbolism, when you start looking deeply, you could see that the symbolism's right there. As we look at the Eye of Ra, the Eye of Horus, representative of the pineal gland. It's all about the pineal gland. It really, really is. There's the process is going on. We have to activate our Kundalini, and we have to, build the light body. And that's the escape from this 3D reality. And that will allow us to go up into higher densities and to really start to become who we truly are.
Which is a little bit tricky because, from my experience when it comes to the Kundalini, you need to be spiritually ready and spiritually sound. And it's difficult if you have traumas that you haven't completely worked through, because your thoughts and emotions and feelings definitely become stronger. But if those thoughts and feelings and emotions are from traumas that you haven't resolved, those become stronger. So you have to work through your stuff. That's so imperative. Now, what I think is happening with these new rays is people's Kundalini is popping off anyway, and they don't know what's going on. They're very, very confused, because suddenly they have these emotions and thoughts and feelings, and they don't know what to do with them, but they're there anyway, and that's where the energy work, taking good care of yourself and being really good to yourself and working through your shadow is so, so extremely important right now.
And so this book was really a key for me, and it's a warning. It really is a warning, just exactly what Cindy's saying, because this gentleman, Gopi Krishna, initiated Kundalini. Perhaps he wasn't as prepared for it as he should have been. The other thing, though, is in these times, everything's changing. It is really changing. So, Kundalini activations can happen much quicker. It's definitely safer if it's done with a master, doing it with you. But even under that circumstance, it can be a wild thing, and it can be tough. Like, he thought he was going crazy, and it ended up, bringing on a lot of pain and suffering at first for him until he was able to balance out the energies. So just reading what it says here: coiled like a snake at the base of the spine, Kundalini is a spiritual force that lies dormant in every human being. Once awakened, often through meditation and yoga, it rises up the spine and finds expression in the form of spiritual knowledge, mystical vision, psychic powers, and ultimately enlightenment. And so, through my experience, there was times when my ex-wife, I know, thought I was going crazy, and I think it's really only in like the last year, and we knew each other from age 16, so a long, long time. It's only like in the last year that she said, you know what, everything you ever talked about is really coming to pass exactly like you said, going back to when we were teenagers. And so there's a little bit of a different view on things now. But when I first was able to start to get the energy to rise, it can make you, it can have society look at you like you're going crazy, for sure, because everything changes in your reality. So this is a good book if anybody is interested in it. It looks like it's still available, and there's 27 used from $4.95. So it's called Kundalini, the Evolutionary Energy in Man. And so you see Evolutionary Energy Arts. So this is really like what I feel is the most important thing for people to realize and recognize. It's all right there. Now, the elite, they know all about this. They've always known all about this because, part of being able to keep us under control is to hide this type of information from us. So we see so many references, and if you look at this, like we see the caduceus of Mercury, and you've seen the AMA symbols, and here obviously these are chakras, which are whirling vortexes. They look like tornadoes, and they're always drawing energy into your body. And then we have the Ida and the Pingala, which is the serpents. Now, there's symbolism. There's so many different levels of symbolism throughout our religious texts. The Bible, obviously, when we're talking about the serpent and things like that, tree of life, tree of knowledge of good and evil. And, the tree of life is fully activated Kundalini with your Merkaba being fully activated. And so it's part of the process. So when the masculine and the feminine energies rise up in balance, all the chakras are open and functioning, then the energy flow will come up and ignite the pineal gland, and we get our wings. Because we are really beings that have the power of the angels. We are earth angels when you get down to it. And we will be getting our wings back. And we see the symbolism all over. Look at Buddha. Again, pine cone head. And this is a Masonic symbol over here. Again, pineal gland, getting your wings, the serpents and the serpentine energy that runs up the spine. This is at the Vatican. Of course, they know. And then here we see Anunnaki with pine cone over here as well. And that's very old too. Horus and the falcon itself. You see the symbolism. It's all right there. It's all in our face. It's just a matter of seeing and deciphering. So as Cindy's been watching my Merkaba like come into manifestation, she said, "Do you know what it looks like?" She said, "It looks just like the symbol of the Masons."
Yeah, and you see the bottom triangle? That's the one that came in on him first. And then, like, the top one came in, and, like, the lines are simply getting longer now. And it's a slow process for most people. It's going to be slow. It's about building your body, the healthiest way possible. And, doing what it takes to, I don't know, get yourself balanced. A lot of us are in positions that we don't like, jobs we don't like, and that brings on negative emotion. So whatever you can do to mitigate those things, or try to learn to, I don't know, somehow push that aside, understand that, okay, I'm at this job, I really don't like it, but I'm just going to walk through this, and I'm not going to have angry emotions. That's so important. Your emotions are so important right now. To learn to control them. Your response is your responsibility, and it's very difficult. And believe me, you guys, I have plenty of demons, and I do have to work through them, but actually it's an honor. I don't have to, I get to. But yeah, that's what's showing up on Mike, and that's been coming in for like the last week, kind of slow.
And the thing is, I feel that change. I totally feel that change. It's really, it's just so invigorating and empowering, and it feels like everything is changing. And in the past, I've had these times where you almost feel superhuman with the energy that goes through you. It feels amazing. Kim Rizzo had said, "Do you think Reiki can help with this?" Oh yeah, most definitely. And I think that's such a huge part of it. And not necessarily just Reiki or just QiGong or Pranic healing. It's all energy work. It's all energy work. And I think that is the biggest thing that you could do is learn and practice on a daily basis, and it'll initiate it. So two very good friends of mine that have fully activated Kundalini, both were activated by masters, and they've had their issues. They've had some issues, but we always have issues. But at the same time, one of them does better than the other with keeping her sanity. And, she's very sane. She's very stable. And so I'm talking about, Cindy knows who I'm talking about. She's just a blessed being of light and love, and is just so full of high vibes. Never see her go down any dark path ever. But the other one has had a very, very hard time and a lot of physical challenges. And so, I and now Cindy, I've done energy work on her for years, trying to always kind of keep the energies in balance, because hers is so just wild, untamed. So again, it's different with every person. Now, as far as me, I've worked on, in person, I probably worked on over 1,000 people. I would estimate, at least 1,000, and then distance energy work, 500 to 1,000 more probably. And it does activate you. Getting worked on by somebody that has activated Kundalini, it most definitely activates you. I think that you felt that too, right, Cindy?
Yeah, I mean, it can. That's why you want to be spiritually ready, because it can. Just doing the distant energy work can change you. And with this thing, finding your balance is most critical. Moving yourself into soul alignment is not an easy thing to do for some, depending on how far out of alignment you are. So, it takes a lot of caring for yourself. I know that a lot of people believe in a lot of stuff that's going on right now is about helping others, but also we need to be able to balance ourselves and put ourselves in that place of contentment instead of a place of confinement, where it seems like the elites have placed us so nicely in these situations in our lives that feel impossible. So it's a lot about balancing, and then the energy work does also come in and help you balance, but mostly you end up finding the balance yourself. Your body and yourself, your brain, you'll have little epiphanies like what you need to do to take care of yourself, what's going to work for you. And that's kind of how it starts. But energy work, it can be kind of it's a journey. It's like the first step of 1,000 steps, but it's the most important step to take care of your energy body. Very, very important. And you can, do that on a daily basis. Like showers, baths are very, very helpful. Salt baths particularly help cleanse the energy and help balance the energies. But it's a life change and it's a commitment.
So there's this ritual called the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, which invokes the 4 archangels. And of course, this is a Judeo-Christian tradition, but it's from the Golden Dawn, so there's other rituals in there that will incorporate Egyptian pantheon as well, with Isis and Osiris and things along those lines. But right here at the end of the ritual, in which you draw these pentagrams, which basically signify spirits ruling of the elements. So the spirit that lies within every single person, which is that it's a part of Source, it's a part of Prime Creator, it's part of God that lies within each one of us. We are all like a spark off of the fire of that is God, the true source of everything. So that lies within us. And you see here, like after you draw the pentagrams around you, which banishes lower astral entities, it would get rid of things like Draco. It would get rid of things like, different types of wraiths and these negative astral bottom feeders. It would even push out discarnate human spirits as well, ghosts, out from the area that you're at. That's what this ritual is used for. It's for clearing space. And basically just allowing you to be unaffected by any negative entities that are out there. So at the end, you visualize a brilliant hexagram within your breast, and you say, "And within me shines the 6-rayed star." So what this is referring to is it's referring to the Merkaba. This is referring to the fact that you're initiating your Merkaba to come into being and fully activated. So it's a very, very powerful ritual, which honestly I did several times a day for decades, and still do whenever I feel dark energies around. We will still do that, and it'll always clear the room.
Yeah, it does clear the room, and I feel lighter and I feel better. And there was some other information that they shared with me today as far as, when our light bodies, they're activating, I think, in our Kundalini, whether we really know it or do it on purpose or not, it's happening with the sun's rays. And I think that's what's making everything so confusing and difficult right now for a lot of people. They don't know where these emotions are coming from, but we're changing. And one thing they told me today, like they were explaining how we can travel and how to make your body into an orb. And they showed me, how people, and I'm sure most of you have done it, like did a cannonball into the pool, you want to create that image of your body and put yourself in that fetal position and like concentrate on the light, and you can make yourself an orb. And if you've seen orb pictures and look closely, a lot of them have faces in them, and those are other beings that are actually traveling. And yeah, so that's what they're doing. They're on a place, or they're in a place with understanding their energy where they can actually travel like this, which is really, really cool, because I didn't understand what orbs were before, but I do now.
Yeah, and I'm just going over some photos of orbs in here, and I've seen them clearly with faces in them. I mean, you guys, can you see the face right there? I think it's, to me, now it was interesting because I saw what I take to be a feminine face, maybe somebody that's Asian, or Native American perhaps. And Cindy sees a lion, and then I could shift my gaze, and I could kind of see a lion too, and I could also kind of see a man's face over on this side. But it's consciousness. Everything is consciousness. We are consciousness. So when you see orbs, you are seeing beings. These are conscious beings.
That's exactly what we're going to be able to do, but we haven't been taught how to do it. So this is really good information. Basic, it's super basic, but it's important information. It's like the baby steps, okay, baby crawls before it walks before it runs. We're learning to crawl. These are crawling lessons here.
So, and this brought up a comment, I believe it was by a young man who, said to the effect, because I was not like really pro space force, because I feel it's draconian. And he had brought up about, well, how else are we going to ever get out into space and travel? And some of us want, this is our desire. We would love to get off planet and go and travel. But they're going to sell the merge with AI. They're going to sell us becoming more machine. And that's what they're really going to try to sell. We could travel out there now. Our consciousness could go anywhere right now. It's just a matter of developing our abilities. And as we develop the light body, we'll be able to go anywhere in an instant. Far more superior to hopping in a ship or anything like that. So we'll be able to do far more. And it's a trap. That's the other component to this. Because if they could turn us into human machine hybrids and keep our consciousness trapped in here, then that really can turn into a eternal hell of sorts and slow down our spiritual evolution. But that's part of the bigger plan they have in store after all the cataclysms, after the population reduction. The ones that are left, they're going to basically assimilate into a Borg, is what they really are planning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, with these, as we learn how to use these energies, and I know they're going to come through with more information, more very basic things that we can do to practice doing this, and knowledge that we should have been taught since children is going to come through. It seems. We can come on here and share that with you guys. But, I do believe that this is a practice. It's something that's going to have to be practiced for possibly, I don't know, many, many years, before we really totally understand what's happening. But it feels like we can go to different dimensions. We can go to different timelines. We can go, different everything all over the place. Aw, Johnny Q, thank you. Love you too. Wish I could. No, it's perfect. Thank you so, so much. Thank you. But yeah, there's going to be so much that we can do that we don't understand, that's going to be revealed to us, in the coming months, years and stuff. And taking care of our body, I have to always keep going back to that, because that's what they stress is going to help create our light body, is a lot of the food that we eat, or some bad things that we shouldn't eat. That's going to help us get to where we need to be.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys could see the faces in these, but to me that's obvious as well. And consciousness abounds. This consciousness is what's real. And this manifest 3D universe and even your 3D body is really, it's just a construct for consciousness when you get down to it. So it's a great thing. It's really a great thing. And it takes away so much of the fear because, whatever happens to the physical body, we go on. Right. We don't stop. Unfortunately, and when you look at it, and Cindy and I have talked about this too, the way that they do things, they understand how to trap people so well. Like when people are, for instance, tortured and put through different things like that, that is going to be something that might affect them and might keep them in the lower astral realms, might keep them back in the loop. So all that they do, and again, I don't think Cindy remembers because she was channeling in the middle of the night, and it was coming out about civil war because that's part of their plan. The civil war, they are trying to start WW3, and they are also trying to start a civil war. And again, these are things that are going to lower our consciousness and also threaten what happens to us when we, go on to the other side. So recognize that there are a lot of spirits that are trapped, and I've encountered a bunch. I had, and I've shared with you guys, I used to work with part of a group called Eastern States Paranormal Society, and it was mostly soldiers that were stationed in Columbia, South Carolina. Got to be friends with them and did a lot of investigations with them. And then I would do a lot of cleansings as well, helping spirits move on, and also helping people have peace in their own homes as well. And encountered so many different spirits. Spirit of a little boy that was actually animating his toys still, and we had quite an interaction with him. And he was appearing just like this. He was appearing as a ball of light. And just playful, really, really playful. And so he was kind of trapped there. And there's been other ones too. And some entities that are not human, but those dark black hole things that have the glowing red eyes. I've encountered those many times. And, the pentagram ritual gets rid of those. So that's what I would use. But yeah, and I've also taken some photos where entire rooms are just loaded with hundreds and hundreds of these orbs. And I don't remember the name right off the top of my head. There is a fort in St. Augustine in Florida. It's like the oldest fort, I think, in North America, if I remember right. And it was constructed by the Spanish. And if you go inside it, take some photos, in some of those rooms. You're going to see hundreds of spirit orbs in there. That place was just loaded with them.
And on a side note, this is a little bit sad, but it's telling. One of my very dear friend, she passed some years ago, and I had her camera. And what was really interesting is that, a few months before she passed, every picture that she was in was surrounded with orbs. So I know that she didn't pass alone. She definitely was met by many, 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 many spirit family. So this does help, just learning what's happening to our bodies and how to use our light bodies takes a lot of fear out of a lot of things. It's just we've never been formally taught, because I do believe like the more light we have in our body, the healthier we are, Aw, feeling free. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. That's wonderful. Thank you. And the more light we have in our bodies, the healthier we're going to be. The healthier we're going to be, guess who goes out of business? I'm not even going to mention any names, but that's how this seems to be shaping up. And I've been getting like dribbles of information, and I think they're just sending it in really slow with me, because it's going to be a slow process, but a very, very important one. It
is. So again, eating clean is really important. as far as developing your light body, you want to eat clean as possible, just real food, there's so much, like, I don't know if Cindy remembers even, you were talking about the chemicals in soaps, shampoos, deodorants, all these things. There's, you got to wonder, why you got dye number 2 in this, and why do you have this and that and this other thing? It's not just about, oh, well, it's going to make it last longer or what have you. No, this is, again, about saturating the body with pollutants and toxins that are going to bog it down. So you want things that are as natural as possible. Don't buy anything that's got so many different words you don't even know what they are. It's not going to be good, and things can seep through your skin. They can get into your bloodstream that way, as well as just bog down in your tissues. You have to be so mindful of all this.
Skin is our biggest organ, so if we put that soap and those lotions and stuff on the biggest organ of the body, it's all going to come in through osmosis. And this is another one of their plans that they've laid out. So I don't like to use the word beautifully, but they did lay it out, and get us kind of in a bad situation. But the beautiful part, the truly beautiful part is that we have choices now. We can look at the soaps that we buy. We can make sure they're organic. We have different choices, which is really, truly a blessing. And through those choices is going to bring us freedom.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Anna. Thank you for your support, sweetie.
Thank you so much, Miss Anna. Thank you.
And Anna's just a sweetheart, as are so many of you guys out there. Everybody in this chat room, just beautiful, beautiful souls. So this world is really, as we had said, it's completely ass backward when you think about it. It's always been all about controlling us. It's always been all about keeping us from ascending, keeping us from realizing who we are. And so, one of my dear friends, she always addresses me as Earth Angel Michael, is what she always says. But that's what you guys are, and that's what we are. We have just, quote unquote, fallen in our consciousness so that we don't know who we are. Because these dark energies, they will always flee from us if we're strong. And if we understand that the light of source, the light of God, is within every single one of us. A lot of these beings are not like that. They don't have the original source of creation in them, and they're more constructs, and than they are like us.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Miss Mary Davison. We appreciate you so much too.
Thank you, Mary. We appreciate your support and being part of this family. Yeah, you guys are beautiful. So cultivate the light that lies within. We cannot allow ourselves to be pulled into the drama. And I know it looks really ugly out there. Our own brother, Soul Reviver, Netsaya, he almost got run over twice, where they had targeted him. He was just crossing the street, and they tried to run him over. Luckily he's got ninja-like abilities. And then they came back for a second try. So most definitely, these are harrowing times. The dark forces are using this opportunity to go ahead and try to take out those that they know are of the light and are of awakening the earth angels that are upon the earth right now, from recognizing their own inherent power, because every day that goes by, we become more powerful as everything is turning on inside of us. And that's not good for their agenda, and that's not good for their time window, which is their window is closing. Their window of opportunity is closing. So every day that goes by is a day that's closer to the ultimate victory of the light.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful journey, and they're also telling me that it's good for us to slow down and enjoy the journey of discovering ourselves, remembering ourselves, understanding what we can do. slow down and savor the food that you know that's super nutritious for your body, and appreciate that. And I think that's going to go a long ways. When we're full of gratitude, that's a really high vibration, and that can help bring you up in energies also.
So ultimately, as we were saying, this is it's the end of the Kali Yuga and the beginning of a new age. And there's going to be a new way that will develop on the earth as we get through these times. So I want to thank everybody that they're taking part in this journey with us. And everything is really becoming unveiled. It truly is the apocalypse when you look at it. It's all, it's all unraveling in such a beautiful way. And it's just, we have to do our part to share this knowledge with as many people as we can. And then also do our part to hold on to the light and help embed it into this world. And you guys are going to be part of the ones that are going to bridge these ages and help bring in the right way of doing things back in harmony with each other and with the planet itself and all the life on the planet.
Yeah, the bridges are so important, and so many of you guys are bridges, and you're so critical to help others from one spot to the next. And you may not be fully awake, but that's done by design too. Aw. Thank you. Feel free. Super chat match. Aw, thank you so much. Bless your heart. Bless you, bless you, bless you. That's awesome. And yeah, a lot of you guys are so important to help people from, people who are mostly asleep, but thinking about awakening, wondering, well, is this world truly what I've been taught? You're being counted on. You have an important job to do to help gently coerce people into awakening, by planting seeds. You don't have to go overboard. You really don't. But just to be there as a friend and someone who understands the awakening process, super important. And together we can pull a lot of people to the side of the light.
Yeah, it's so important for us to know that we are not battling each other, and whether we are Christian or Muslim or atheist or agnostic or Buddhist or Hindu or what have you, ultimately, if we're serving the light, we're serving the light. It's just that simple, because it's not about dogma, which is always human. It's about love and the vibration of that unity consciousness, the understanding that we're in this together, and diversity is great. It's beautiful to have diversity. And just think about it too. When we look at the Arcturians, they have a humanoid look to them, but they're very different than us. But at some point in time, we're going to be seeing all these different races of beings, probably in person, up close in person, and we'll be able to learn new ways, learn new things, and that is super exciting.
And thank you. Energy is 1111, and she has a question about, can your Kundalini be fully active? Then messages, downloads stop for a while, you think, then pick back up. Feels like changing of the guides. What's happening to you, and they just told me, is you're processing information. And yeah, that can definitely happen. Because sometimes we go into overload, and things just have to stop. There's no other way, but information has to stop. And then it picks back up when you're ready. Thanks for your support too. Thank you. And yeah, thanks.
And as you guys know, a lot of times Cindy could get direct messages from the guides, for personal things. So, we had talked about, but we always seem to get caught up in other things. But we had talked about before, if you had recently lost somebody, there is at times she can connect and see people that are on the other side. I mean, she's seen that many times with many people. So we might do some shows, geared towards that. I think she's a little hesitant too.
Yeah, because Because you get what you get and you get what you need, and people don't understand. A lot of people want like super big details, like major details, and that's not, they don't want to interrupt your human experience. That's so important. But sometimes we can get confirmations and stuff like that. It's just, this is all a little bit still new to me, but it's been happening.
Yeah, because this is something that she had suppressed for so long, and really has just been able to remember and to work through without fear since we've been working together. So it's just been like the last 2.5, 3 years really that she's been able to do that again, because it can be overwhelming, as we know, for many people.
Thank you so much, Miss Energies. You're so sweet. Thanks, you guys. So kind, so wonderful, such a high vibe crowd. I love this, and just having these chats and raising the vibration is going to help our light bodies a lot. Thanks.
Did you see Joni Q's? I have not had any sleep paralysis episodes since finding you.
Aww, that's wonderful.
So yeah, you could reach us, evolutionaryenergyarts at protonmail.com or still at gmail.com as well. Anybody that needs to reach out, and Cindy's just, obviously I'm a big fan of hers. I gotta say, I think I'm her number one fan, but I've seen, her gifts are just amazing. They're really amazing, and I've been blessed to be around some really gifted people. I've shared with you guys too. I have 3 friends that actually have passed on, spent time on the other side, and they all have abilities, like this too. But Cindy seemed to be so refined, and she's, I think, tried to push them away most of her life, but now we're working on them actively and developing them, and it's just part of our purpose as well.
Nuke says, Cindy, tell Sassy to speak. I know, right? All of us should tell Sassy to speak. I know. No, it comes with a lot of, you have to work through your own stuff and shed your ego and shed your fears, and not let ego control what you're going to say. And that's what makes things scary, and then sometimes you pick up on an energy thing and you might be totally wrong, so again, that's like working through ego stuff. But it's all very interesting, and I know we can all do it, and we're all learning how to do it, and it's a beautiful time to be alive.
Okay, so let's send energy out one more time for everybody in this room, and also the planet. So let's send love, light, peace, and brotherhood. Let's see that just drive away the darkness. Let's see people laying down their arms, soldiers lying down their arms, people just saying, we're not going to go along with this dark plan anymore. As the consciousness raises up, let our hearts raise up, and let us know we are doing our very best to bring in this new time. So thank you guys. We love you guys so much. Thank you for joining us. As always, guys, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.